anytime you have the federal judge, the descending judge, saying they set a standard for Mumia that they didn't set for anyone else, it is time the people rise up.
I am absolutely innocent of the charge I was charged of. I'm absolutely not guilty of the charges I were convicted of.
The sad part of this decision is that it continues what has now become known as the Mumia exception, where the courts changed the rules just to block this man getting any kind of justice. The court, this court, particularly the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, had a history of finding fault with jury discrimination in the Philadelphia's District Attorney's Office. And in this particular ruling, they changed the rules. And that is what the dissenter in this case said, Judge Yohn. He said, why is it that you changed the rules in this case? Why not just follow the rules that it has been and grant this guy some relief, and let's develop a full record? And that's what didn't happen.
Did you think the federal courts were going to be any different?
Well, there was hope that the federal courts would be different because the federal courts are supposed to be above the fray, beyond the political tent. But it does raise questions. I mean, I don't know if there was any political manipulation here. I'm just saying that based on pattern and practice, it raises questions as to why they would change the rules in this particular case, and then change the rules on the issue of jury discrimination, but say we're going to adhere to precedent on the issue of improper statements by the prosecutor, appeal after appeal, and the issue of alleged bias by Judge Sabo during the 1995 appeal hearing. So if you're going to follow precedent on 2 of 3 issues, why not follow it on all 3? Why change it on 1 and not the other 2?
Yeah.
Raises questions, and that's all I'm saying, that because so many questions have been raised in terms of the way courts have handled this case over 20 years, that's what creates the cloud over it, and that's what drives people's feelings, and legitimate feelings, that Abu Jamal has been treated unfairly. There has been many, many instances of political pressure that we've known about, over the years, and in this particular case. Let's understand that there was an effort by the district attorney's office to have this case transferred out of the circuit. We don't want the Third Circuit hearing this. Now, they claimed it was because Governor Rendell's wife sits on the court, but I think it is arguably inferable to say that because the Third Circuit had the Third Circuit had found patterns of prejudicial practices by the district attorney's office regarding racism and jury selection, the district attorney's office was afraid that they would apply that same precedent to this case, when in fact it turned out different. They changed the rules.
Minute by minute, hour by hour, free Mumia, fight the power. Minute by minute, hour by hour, free Mumia, fight the power.
No justice for peace. The Mumia, good smile, release no justice for peace.
We are tired of blacks' life being reduced to 0. We are tired of the fraternal order police and other police forces around this world smashing innocent men and women and killing little children. It is time that we say to the world that women of this world, value our sons, value our daughters, value human life. It's from out of our womb that children come. And we want to say to men, and especially to men who have no respect for law, no respect for human rights, that the time of your reign is over.
Look at the case and see that Mumia didn't have a fair trial. You have, like Mayor Dinkins, the former mayor of New York, he came along because he's opposed to the death penalty. We was doing his radio shows. Then he said, well, you know what? It looks like Mumia, this was over time. He didn't have a fair trial. The very last thing this mayor said, based on evidence and things that I have seen, this man is innocent, and I'm going to do everything I can for his release. So we're calling on those people. We're calling on the Congressional Black Caucus, who stated very clearly that they investigated this case. The first decision that they did, press release in 1995, they said that they investigated and found Mumia was innocent. The second one they did, they said it's clear he didn't have a fair trial. Well, nothing's changed. Anytime you have the federal judge, the descending judge, saying they set a standard for Mumia that they didn't set for anyone else, it is time the people rise up, and get hold to every organization, going to these churches, and going to their schools and things, and make sure that people understand that this government must stop. Anytime you have the First Lady of France, the former First Lady, Danielle Mitterrand, leading massive demonstrations in the street, and naming streets after Mumia and Saint-Denis, Paris, and in order for youth to graduate from the country of France, they must know the case. There's evidence, and we're not going to act as if what they did was just.
What they ruled is not surprising or shocking to me. These people have no intention of ever doing right, you know, by Mumia or anybody else. The only time they ever do right is when they're forced to do right through the pressure of the people. Right now, they're trying to fool people with this ruling, having people hallucinate that this is something good, that they've done something. But all they have done was put Mumia in the same situation of either getting executed or facing a long, slow death in prison.
They must release Mumia, and they must release Mumia now. Not on the fact of anything other than judicial misbehavior and the evidence that this man is innocent. On the 19th of April, I think we should start it right here. And then we'll march up to City Hall, surround City Hall, and I believe that the Congressional Black Caucus is going to be in the Convention Center. That's where we're going to end it up at. And we're going to demand from now until then, you know, like I said, every event, whether it's a Hillary event, whether it's an Obama event, we're going to be there. We want to put pressure on Obama to make him speak out. We're going to put pressure on Hillary and for her to do whatever she's going to do. And we're going to make sure that people understand, just because the criminal pushes a candidate for president don't mean you're supposed to silence your mouth. And I'm not talking about none other than Ed Rendell and Lynn Abraham.
If they believed in justice, they would examine the evidence. They would examine the facts. We know that the courts don't believe in justice, and we can see by their example that the courts are not doing justice by Mumia. But we are not going to accept that. We're not going to stop. We're not going to throw up our hands. The courts have been changed in the past, and they will be changed again by people power that is not going to accept this government and courts and corporations running ramshot over our lives, over our loved ones.
Can I ask you why you brought the dog out today?
He needs some exercise.
Yeah? Alright. A lot of times people feel intimidated by dogs, you know?
My police officer laugh and smirk and act as if this some kind of fucking joke. It's not. Because it was one of your brothers that was murdered. And it's clear, it is evident that our brother is innocent. The evidence is here. Read the evidence. You need to ask yourself, why is it that y'all have done every illegal thing that it is to do to ensure injustice in the case of Mumia Abu-Jamal? How come the evidence was never allowed to be heard?
The DA's office was so happy about the ruling.
Well, the ruling, as it came down, upheld the conviction. And the district attorney has always argued throughout that the conviction was just, when in fact, if you objectively examine the evidence, there are major flaws, at least flaws enough to justify a new hearing. and or a new trial, and that's all people have wanted. If you're going to convict someone, America says that you're supposed to convict them during a fair trial, where it is both fair in fact and fair in form. And what has driven this movement around the world is that people can point to instance after instance after instance, after 100 instances, after 1,000th instance, after 10,000 instances, where there are very compelling examples of unfairness.
And it's in that courtroom where people find truly whether the rights they were told about exist or they don't exist. What does it really mean, and what does it matter what's written in the books if what's written in the hearts and minds and souls of people is still, in the words of Justice Taney, that a black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect?